Welcome back to Primetime Sports Monday. Defending girls champions Edwin Allen are confident of making it 7 in a row, while the Dark Blues of Old Hope Road will be hoping to break a 10-year drought. We begin our champs preview this evening with a look at the top contenders.
Despite the one-year wait brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, coach of Edwin Allen's girls team, Michael Dyke, is not planning on letting up on his competitors. The Clarendon Bay School, which defended their Central Champs title last month, now have their eyes firmly set on the girls' Champs title.
Well, definitely, yes. Based on what we have seen throughout the meet and the cards, yes, I believe we are in a good position to defend.
The one-year layoff has not significantly affected the ambitions of Edwin Allen, as despite a tough build-up, the aim remains the same.
Happy to know that their students are getting an opportunity to compete once again after the lockdown last year. But the fact that champs is here, you still want to be competitive and to go and do your best. And it still goes down the record as another victory, regardless of what championship it was.
Dyke expects an all-round contribution from his team over the 5 days.
I think this year we have a balanced team, especially our field is considered to be very strong in the throws and the jumps. And our middle distance, really strong. And we will hold our own in the sprint.
In the meantime, unlike Edwin Allen, Jamaica College has seen 8 boys' champs titles decided since they last won in 2011. However, by all indications, they could present the toughest challenge to defending champions Kingston College. Head coach Neil Harrison, who was said to be locked in an intense team meeting when contacted, was coy in his response.
We are going to perform to the best of our abilities and leave everything up to God.
And while Harrison remains reserved with his words, assistant coach at Calabar High School, Omar Hawes, says this year's championships will be an emotional one for his athletes, following the killing of jumps coach Nicholas Newville in March.
So the team is now again trying as best as possible to be motivated enough to go out and compete. And I think I see a lot of emotion still in the training, especially the jumps, where he was basically the person in charge of the jumps. They have been given some good efforts in training, and we are seeing the distances in the long jump and the triple jump so far this season. So.
Bernardo Brown for TVJ Sports.
Thank you, Renardo. Now, the uncertainty over this year's staging of champs for a large part of the season has caused some to question what the quality of performances will be when the 5-day championships gets underway on Tuesday. However, there's one athlete who is poised to smash a record in the field.
Most athletes have had their preparations for this year's ISA Boys and Girls Championships disrupted throughout the season due to COVID-19. The evidence of inadequate preparation has been shown by some of the athletes when they have had the chance to compete this season. But that's not the case for Holmwood technical discus thrower Cedrica Williams. Williams' 51.27 meters at the Excelsior Invitational in March is already well beyond the 46.69 meter record set by Marie Forbes back in 2018. But despite being the overwhelming favorite, Williams is uneasy about Wednesday's competition.
Always nervous, we don't take anything for granted, so I'm nervous at times.
Her coach, Dwight Jones, exudes far more confidence.
She is a double gold medalist from Class 3. Unfortunately, champs didn't keep last year. So she's ready this year to win the Class 2 title and possibly in a record distance based on her performance throughout the season.
And Coach Jones says his preparation for Williams wasn't only about the Boys and Girls Championships.
Her best throw so far is 51. Which is a distance that we target because we wanted to get the qualifying for World Juniors, which we did.
Williams, who owns the 2 furthest throws in her class by a distance this season, also won a Central Champs in April. But despite her favourite stag, Coach Jones knows that it's what happens in Wednesday's final at Champs which really counts.
When you go to Champs, you start at 0. So she has to go there, get the job done. But she's well prepared and I know she will get the job done.
Jerome Foster, TVJ Sports.
And with the COVID-19 pandemic, it's not expected to be business as usual for the organizers of the ISA Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships over the next 5 days. Now, Jermaine Brown visited the National Stadium and did a walkthrough with meet manager Anthony Davis.
New protocols, of course, in place, including how athletes, officials, etc. will enter the gates. We're here at the one of such entrances. Go ahead and tell us just who will be allowed through this particular entrance, for instance.
Everybody who is accredited to work in any capacity will receive a wristband, because there has to be significant control over who come in at what time. So you are allowed to come in up to 2 hours before your scheduled start of work. Now for here, the media personnel will be entering through here. For the larger gate, that's for service areas, right? The service vehicle will go through here. The medical people will go through here. There will be temperature checks at every entry point. There will also be a log recording who it is that have entered and the time that they have entered, and of course sanitization. The persons who are authorized to enter the venue through gate number 3 will be the sponsors and the meeting officials. And when we say sponsors, we are talking about sponsors coming to do presentation for a particular event. It's a no spectator meet, so they will not be allowed to stay for the rest of the times.
So come Tuesday, May 11th, this is the gate where the athletes and school officials, coaches included, will enter through.
When they get here, they'll turn right. This is a designated parking area. It is not a parking area designed for you to park and stay. It is designed for you to drop off and return to pick up your team later. The athletes will exit the bus, will be heading in this direction, heading north, where they will encounter their first checkpoint as athlete and coaches. At that checkpoint, IDs will be checked. We'll check to see that you are scheduled to compete within the time that you arrive, because we have our arrival schedule. Temperature check, record your name, all that is done, sanitization, and then you proceed to the warm-up area.
But what will be in place to ensure that the athletes, there's not too much mixing up of the athletes, so those coming off track to those who are going on?
The athletes are leaving from the call room under the guidance of our competition steward. They'll go underground, and this is where they emerge. Going into the competition, you will see signs along here, social distancing, where we put guidelines where the athletes should be from each other. When you are finished competing, you'll be exiting the marathon tunnel on the left side, heading east.
You've had to create even new areas for the athletes, and in particular for the multi-event athletes.
Stadium East provides the only viable option to satisfy the social distance requirement, and therefore we'll be putting a tent here. The athletes will have their mattress as they're accustomed to. We'll provide tables with refreshments.
So everyone is on track as to what will be happening, in particular regarding the athletes when they compete.
For example, at the end of 100 meters or 200 meters, traditionally this is the finish line, this is where they'll end. We'll have a mixed zone, but with limited interaction. So the athletes will be able to, the media will have very limited access to the person's social distance, of course.
The legends of Jamaican track and field all came through boys and girls at championships. They epitomize the importance of the event. And that is why all the heroic efforts have been put in place to stage this year's event. Jermaine Brown reporting for TVJ Sports.
Alrighty, let's take another break on Primetime Sports Monday. When we come back, we have still got a bit more on Champs 2021.